Smashlee from Smashlee Stitches, and this is Knitting in Pajamas. This week we're talking about what my husband's biggest pet peeves are when it comes to living with me and my knitting. He's written out some interesting pet peeves, I'm sure, and I haven't read them, so we're gonna go through them right now. And to be honest, I might get divorced by the end of this video, so let's get to it. The first one is untangling yourself as you walk through a room like you've walked through a Spider-Man crime scene. Now, that's probably true, and that actually annoys me as well, and I'm the one doing it. There is yarn literally all over my house. So yeah, he gets a little bit annoyed with that, and I can see why. So that one's okay. Cool with that. Finding enough bits of yarn in the dryer lint trap to make another effing blanket. Yeah, there's yarn in our dryer. It's just little bits of yarn. It's like everywhere. I'm cool with it. He apparently is not. Modeling god-awful creations for her and telling her they're amazing, especially in the beginning. So when I started as a knitter, I would make him try on hats. I'd make him try on sweaters. There's even an Ernie sweater that I made him wear for Halloween. Yes, and obviously they weren't amazing. Finding yarn in your food. And he's put in brackets that it has happened, because it has. My solution to this is just never cook again. It's not to give up knitting, it's to order Chinese food every day. It'll never be a problem. Constantly flipping over the vacuum because some demon knitting accessory is jammed in it. I have been known to ruin a lot of vacuuming. That's why I don't vacuum. Watching her torture the kids with modeling her creations because you refuse to do it anymore. Although my son is he's still at the age where it's cool. My daughter absolutely hates it, so part of living with me. You just have to get used to wearing knitting stuff. Getting dragged through Michael's or some other demon craft store for the millionth time. Yeah, that's just part of it. You're gonna have to get used to it. I don't care. Seeing red yarn hanging out of a closed car door like the vehicle has suddenly started bleeding acrylic fabric. I've actually gotten out of a car and had knitting still trapped in the car, and I've actually tripped because the knitting was wrapped around my leg. Passenger seat, I do not knit when I drive. I can barely drive, so I definitely can't knit and drive. You can always tell where I park. That is kind of funny though. So that wasn't as bad as I thought it would be. He could be a lot meaner. A lot meaner, I'm not gonna lie. Living with me as a knitter is not the easiest thing in the world, and I am a really messy knitter. There's yarn. It looks like yarn threw up all over our house. And there's projects and yarn and needles everywhere. So he's a good guy for putting up with it, I'll say that. However, he has now put his solutions, I think, to this problem, or therapy, I should say. Therapy for the husband who lives with a knitter. So this is part 2 of the video, I guess. And I didn't ask him to do this. He came up with this part on his own. Apparently he feels that living with me, he needs therapy. So let's see what he has to say. Oh, this one. He's actually done this. Oh, okay. Taking her stitch counter clicker and clicking it a bunch of times when she leaves the room. So if you don't know what a stitch counter is, it is this little clicker thing, and it has numbers on it, and every time you finish a row, you click once. Keeps track of where you are. He has actually come by while I've either left the room or even while I'm knitting and just come up and click the thing. So instead of saying 4 rows, it now says 99. And not only that, he has taught our children to do it. So I now do not own a stitch counter because of him. So that is crap advice. Daydreaming of stabbing her with her own knitting needles and then going through the sizes to find the best one for the job. All I can say about this is I've daydreamed of stabbing him with my knitting needles. So, and I know which ones will do the best job. Daydreaming about stabbing himself with her knitting needles to end the misery, and then going through the sizes to find the best one for the job. I can recommend a size if he would like to do that. Using her fabric measuring tape instead of looking for yours. I've actually used his, what are they called? A man tape measure. He can't find them after because I hide them, so whatever. Vacuuming up an entire ball of yarn to see how much it would take to jam the vacuum. I think that would make a really cool experiment. I kind of want to do that. That's not bad advice. Using her knitting needles on a dartboard like you're throwing a mini javelin. No. Actually, I use circular knitting needles, so he can't even do this, so joke's on him. Using her knitting needles to take stuff apart because you can't find your screwdriver. It's not a bad idea. But again, it only will work with double point needles or the straight needles, and he can use either of those because I don't like them. I would just like to say, after reading his pet peeves and his therapy, that I'm not that bad to live with. I think knitting is awesome. One day when I finally knit him something, he'll be happy to actually wear a sweater that fits. I do not apologize for all the yarn on the floor or tripping over it. In fact, now it's probably going to become war. Just saying. If you want more Smashlee stitches, don't forget to follow me on all the social media links below. And I'll see you next week on Knitting in Pajamas. Don't forget to subscribe. Bye, guys.